Hello there dear YouTubers, my name is King1993 and today I'll be talking about another Valkyrie character. And before starting this video, to understand that this is not a meta guide, this is a guide for the beginner because I do not have enough money to buy all of the weapons and the stigmata set in the game. So as a result, this will be a beginner's guide only. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so today's character will be called Yae Sakura. Now there are total 4 Yae Sakuras in the game, and out of these 4 Yae Sakura, only this one is the strongest type. She is in A category. Yep, she is in the A category, and all of the others are basically below B categories. Okay, so that is the thing. Now here is the thing. Each one of them has their own different type of damage dealing types. For example, this one is a physical damage dealer, this one is the fire damage dealer, this one is a lightning damage dealer, and this one is a ice damage dealer. Now each one of them have their own signature names like Gashin, Miko, or whatever it is, but for the purpose of simplicity I'm just gonna call them Ice Sakura, Lightning Sakura, Fire Sakura, and Physical Sakura. Okay, so that is point number 1. Okay, now point number 2 is, let's go to the weapon section and then again select the blades, and once I have selected the blades, I'll be going as the bottom position as possible. Okay, in case of the Lightning Sakura, the best weapon for her is actually this Mag Typhoon, because if you were to read the description of the what should I call it, not Lightning Empress, I mean for the Lightning Sakura, you will see that Lightning Sakura's main weapon is Mag Storm. Okay, Mag Storm changes into this pre-arm which is called Mag Typhoon. So obviously this is a very great weapon for her, but if you were to get the Lightning Sakura this domain of sanction, then she will be able to do even far more damage, because even though this one was meant for the harsher, it seems like the Lightning Sakura also capable of handling this weapon better than this one. As a result, if you were to have this one, you can give it to the Lightning Sakura, but if you do not have this domain of sanction, then you can give Lightning Sakura this. Okay, so that is one of them. Now this Ryono Sakura is, as the name suggests, the weapon is based for this flame Sakitama. Okay, and or for this fire Sakura, that is, and this one is basically a DPS damage dealing one, and basically what it does is, whenever you use this on flame Sakitama has the same effect as Blood Rose Himiko. She will start to lose HP. Okay, so in order to make sure that you use this, you must to use this weapon very carefully, otherwise your flame Sakitama is gonna get defeated in a very short while. As good as this weapon is on flame Sakitama, it is also bad because of this HP reduction. Okay, now this frozen Naraka is based on Kushin no Memento, or let's say Ice Sakura. Okay, this weapon was especially made for Ice Sakura, and there is no other alternative character in the game who can take large quantity advantage of this, unless let's say you have this weapon and you have some other Sakura, maybe this attack percentage will do. Otherwise this weapon is based on Goshin no Memento only. Okay, now those are the main weapon for each of the Sakura, but here is the thing, this Sakura Blossom. Okay, this Sakura Blossom is the only best weapon for Goshin no Miko, because what happens is, if you were to read the description, then you will see this Goshin no Miko will be able to perform these weapons ultimate or active skill the more she uses on its enemy. So based on that, basically speaking, the Sakura Blossom, if you have this, do not let's say use it as a sacrificial material on some other weapon, because I think there might be a possibility that this weapon is gonna turn into a pre-arm. Okay, like there is a high possibility of this weapon turning into a pre-arm, because as you can probably see in the 6-star section, there is basically not a single physical damage dealing weapon. Okay, so there is a high possibility of this weapon becoming a pre-arm in the future, so do not waste it. Okay, so that is basically it for the weapon section from this category. Okay, now let's talk about the weapon which you can get by grinding only, and you do not have to use any type of crystals in order to get them. Now when it comes to the blade weapons, it is actually far easier to get them when compared to some other weapons. Let me show you why. Go to this equipment section, then go to forge, and then go to this blade, and as you scroll down, okay, there are many options. For example, this plasma kagehide is basically an ice damage dealing weapon. So as a beginners or a basic weapon, okay, you can definitely give this to Sakura, okay, ice Sakura, and your ice Sakura will be able to do a lot of damage, ice damage dealing. Okay, now Futsunushito is a weapon that can do both lightning damage, ice damage, and fire damage, which are also considered as elemental damage. So even if you were to give this weapon to any of the Sakuras except the physical damage dealing Sakura, then they can take advantage of this because it has elemental damage stacking. So this is a very good weapon for all 3 of the Sakura except the physical damage dealing Sakura. Okay, now as for the physical damage dealing Sakura, this is a very good weapon because this weapon is especially a physical damage dealing weapon, and also it lowers their enemy's defense for 30% for 4 seconds. So even though for this 4 seconds isn't that much, at least at the beginning part of the game it is actually very good. Okay, so remember, this is good on the physical damage dealing Sakura, this one is good for the ice damage dealing Sakura, and this one is good for all of the damage dealer Sakura except the physical damage dealing one. Okay, now as you go to the upper section, you will see that there is this weapon, sacred relic, and this one is called void blade. Now this sacred relic, even though it is a physical damage dealing weapon, this is actually much better for Valkyrie blade strike and not Goshin no Miko. Even though it is written here it 4-star, it is just a star, and do not mind this star because this is a total bogus. Okay, this weapon was especially built for Valkyrie blade strike because this Valkyrie blade strike can do a lot of damage count within a short period of time. Okay, but not Goshin no Miko. Now for Goshin no Miko, I suggest that you give her void blade because the void blade is better because the after one time consumption. Okay, so the thing is, if you were to use, let's say, what should I call it, Goshin no Miko's ultimate, then this weapon will be able to give you 30% more physical damage dealing. Okay, so this is actually better than this sacred relic because sacred relic condition matches with Valkyrie blade strike, and this one matches good condition for any of the physical damage dealing Sakura. Okay, now for ice damage dealing, there is these 2 weapon. This one is called Page of Rain, and this one is called Ice Epithelium. Now I suggest that you go for this Ice Epithelium because this Page of Rain cannot be transformed into a pre-arm, whereas this Ice Epithelium can transform into a pre-arm, which will eventually be transformed again into transform into Frozen Naraka. So if you want to get an ice damage dealing weapon, go for this Ice Epithelium and it will be turned into a Frozen Naraka. Okay, now let's talk about this fire damage dealing weapon, which is called Demon Blade Florid Sakura. Obviously this is Sakura's weapon. Another good thing is this can also be changed into a pre-arm. Okay, and last but not least is this Max Storm. Now this Max Storm is best for the lightning damage dealing Sakura because this Max Storm can transform into a Mech Typhoon. And when it comes to this damage dealing, let's say this one has only 70 attack, whereas this one has a lot more stuff attached to it besides this attack. So which is why if you were to have this Mech Typhoon, obviously it will be a lot better when compared to this Max Storm. So the thing about these blade weapons is almost all of them. For example, 1, 2, 3. You can turn all three of these blade weapon into a pre-arm, which is very good. Okay, now for this domain of sanction, this is more of a harsher weapon, but if you have this, you can give it to the lightning Sakura. But when you have this, give this one to lightning Sakura, because this one is more of a harsher weapon. Okay, so that is basically it for the weapon section. That majority of the Sakura can actually get their pre-arm in a very fast manner because they are easy to get. Okay, so normally what I talk about next is the Valkyrie character stigmata set. I talk about the signature one and the non-signature one, but the thing is that Yae Sakura is such an old character that majority of her stigmata set are basically outdated. So which is why I'm not gonna talk about their signature stigmata set, rather I'm gonna talk about their alternative, which you can get it from the equipment section. Go to this equipment section, go to go to stigmata set, then select Forge. Once you have done that, then you have to select the first. Let's talk about the first one, for example the physical one. Now do remember that there are actually 5 categories of stigmata set: G4, G3, G2, G1 and basic. Let's start with the basic. So the best physical damage dealing set at the basic stigmata set category, that is the Marco Polo set. So Marco Polo set is a basic stigmata set that you can get for any of the physical damage dealing Valkyrie characters, because it is a multi-purpose stigmata set that can do a lot of physical damage dealing, and the mechanism of activating these physical damage dealing materials, or let's say skill, that is actually very easy to do. You just hit on the enemy and the enemy will take damage, so that is very easy. But here is the thing: as you go from this G1, G2, G3 to G4, you have to maintain a certain amount of knowledge in how to get them. Okay, for example, this G1 stigmata is called Ekaterina. Ekaterina is a sacrificial set for Michelangelo. Michelangelo is a sacrificial set for Direk, and Direk is a sacrificial set for Alicia, which is why I suggest that if you are at a beginning stage, then you can go for Ekaterina. Okay, and then you can slowly go up. But here's the thing: if you are already in a very top position, then I suggest that you start from Michelangelo and then go to this Direk and then go to this Alicia. Now in case if you are wondering, then why not get why not get Direk and then go for this Alicia? Why go from this one? Well, that is because in order for me to get one Direk, it took about 2 months to actually gather a lot of these materials. As you can see here, when you transform them, okay, the amount of material you need is lower than when you try to get them using these materials. It is a huge difference. Okay, not like 900 and this one is 1800, about double. So it's gonna take about 2 months to actually collect all of this ether fuel. So go from Michelangelo and then Direk and then to Alicia set. Okay, so this is for the physical type. Now for the fire type, again do the same thing. For the basic one is this Fuhua magician set. Just like Marco Polo, it is a basic set. Any Valkyrie character can use it. Now as you go up, the second G1 is Higokumaru, because Higokumaru is a sacrificial for Thales and Thales is a sacrificial for Leeuwenhoek. So if you want to get the maximum amount of damage dealing, I suggest that you try to get this Leeuwenhoek set. Okay, but here's the thing: in case if you want to do let's say meta category type of damage, then a very good option is that you get Leeuwenhoek T and P and Thales M. Okay, and you should be able to do a large quantity of damage, because Leeuwenhoek M, this basically provides damage, but it can be only activated during ultimate evasion, whereas this Thales M is gonna be activated every time you hit the enemy. So obviously this one is actually better than this. Okay, and not only that, this set bonus of Leeuwenhoek 3 pieces is actually not that much good either. So overall, the best set is Leeuwenhoek T, P and Thales M. Okay, now let's talk about the ice. Again, from the basic stigmata set, I suggest that you get Rasputin. Okay, because Rasputin is similar to Marco Polo, a multi-purpose. And as you go up, get Nohime, and once you get Nohime, you can turn Nohime into Robert Peary and Robert Peary into Anaskariak. Now here is the thing about Anaskariak. You do not need to combine this Anaskariak with any of the other ice damage ring, because Anaskariak is basically a very good quality stigmata set which can do a large quantity of damage dealing. So based on that, all I'm gonna say that if you were to have Anaskariak, go for it, because Anaskariak alone, Anaskariak set alone is actually best of the ice damage dealer which is currently right now. Okay, and last but not least is this lightning damage dealing. Now for this lightning damage dealing, for the basic one, go for Darwin. And now as you go to the upper ground, go to this Nagamitsu set, because Nagamitsu set is a sacrificial for Monet and Monet is a sacrificial set for Ishikawa Goemon. Okay, so as a result, if you were to get Ishikawa Goemon set, obviously you are going to be able to do a lot more lightning damage. Now here's the thing, if I remember correctly, okay, let's see, somewhere around here that you can basically change. Okay, here it is. So for this Ishikawa Goemon B, you can instead give this, okay, ice. So instead you can give the Valkyrie character this Monet B, in case if you are wondering why, because the amount of damage it will do is gonna be greater, because this damage activation happens whenever you hit the character. So for this case, I suggest that you go for Ishikawa Goemon T, M and Monet B, and that is gonna be the best set for any of the lightning damage dealing DPS Valkyrie character. Okay, okay, now we are at the elf part of the video, where I'm gonna talk about which type of elf is actually based on which type of Yae Sakura character. Now first of all, let's go to elf and let's talk about the physical damage dealing Sakura. For the physical damage dealing Sakura, the second best option is Blood Embrace and the first best option is this Stellasora, because if you just look at their skill capabilities, you can probably see that as an A rank, this one's skill is actually lower when compared to this one. This one will provide you with more skills. Okay, so obviously if you want to use crystals on getting this Stellasora, then I highly suggest that you get Stellasora for the physical damage dealing Sakura. Okay, now let's talk about the fire damage dealing Sakura. For the fire damage dealing Sakura, this is the worst option. This doesn't even fall into the category of third best option. Like this should not be even be an option if you want to do let's say fire damage dealing. Okay, rather if you just want for healing, okay, then this can go with any of the others because it will do healing. Okay, and that is a huge support in the game if you are a beginner and do not know how to dodge your enemy. Okay, what is the second best option? Now the second best option is the Book of Fuxi, because this Book of Fuxi will do fire damage on the enemy and will also provide elemental support buff, and based on that, if you were to have fire Sakura, obviously this one will be able to provide a large quantity of damage dealing for the fire Sakura. Now the first best option is the Sirin. So if you want to use crystals, then I highly suggest that go for Sirin instead of Book of Fuxi, because Sirin will provide fire support, healing and shield break. So obviously this is the superior one. Okay, now for the ice damage dealing Sakura, the best one is Selon's Elige, because it will provide ice damage as well as ice support, whereas this one is gonna provide some elemental damage. So this is the third best option. Okay, now what is the second best option? The second best option is Water's Edge, because it will do ice support as well as some ice damage on the enemy. So let me rephrase, the third best option for ice Sakura is Book of Fuxi, the second best option is Water Edge, and the first best option is Selon's Elige. Now last but not least is the lightning damage dealing Sakura. Now for the lightning damage dealing Sakura, the third best option is Book of Fuxi. Okay, the second best option is gonna be Bella, and the third best option is gonna be Klein. Okay, because this one provides elemental buff, this one provides, this one will provide lightning buff as well as lightning damage on the enemies. This one is basically a multi-purpose. Okay, like this is the best option. So if you want to do the best or maximum amount of lightning damage dealing, then I suggest that you get this client, okay, as a best option. Okay, so that is basically it for the elf section regarding of which type of elf is actually good on which type of Sakura. Okay, so now we are at the final part of the video where I'm gonna say that overall Yai Sakura is a very easy character to get, and because she is a easy character to get, both her weapons and the stigmata set are also free to get. Okay, the only thing you might need to use crystals on are basically the elves, and other than that nothing else. Okay, so a very easy character for the beginner players. And here is another thing I'd like to mention, that if you want to know more about the Honkai Impact character guides, or let's say overall the game guides, then I highly suggest that you go to my website, where the link of this website is gonna be in the description. Okay, and also let's say if you want to do more research on other type of games as well, which I'm gonna be eventually upload in the future. Since I have started this website very recently, the amount of material here is gonna be actually not that much great, but eventually I will upload as much as possible. Okay, so that is gonna be it for this video. If you like this video, then please give a like and subscribe, and click the bell notification icons to create more of this type of video on a regular basis. Thank you.